This is David Waters from the Gators Breakdown Podcast, bringing you a quick little update after the commitment of Antwaun Powell to the Gators. Not necessarily going to do a full episode here, of course. I'll have Phil Steele on later this week. I teased that earlier this week. I'll have him on Friday, or we're going to record that on Friday, and that episode will be released either Sunday or Monday. But let's get into this commitment, big-time commitment for the Gators. Antwaun Powell from Portsmouth, Virginia, right outside of Norfolk. 4-star, weak side defensive end, 6'3", 234 pounds. He's the 136th ranked player in the country, the number 6 weak side defensive end. Probably will play buck for the Gators. That's kind of what Todd Grantham, defensive coordinator there for Florida. Torian Gray's instrumental too here in the commitment. Of course, a player from Virginia, you would expect that. But also very instrumental in bringing this in. But Powell will probably play buck for the Gators when it's all said and done, when he's on campus there. And of course, he tweeted out around 3:30 today on the Wednesday here. First and foremost, I would like to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for giving me the ability to play the game that I love. I would like to thank all the colleges and their coaching staff that offered me an opportunity to be a part of their football program. I'm very thankful for my family, friends, coaches, and the community support I've received on and off the field and during the recruitment process. With that being said, I feel the best decision for me, and I'm excited to announce that I am 100% committed to the University of Florida. So Powell, if you go look at his film, I mentioned he'll probably play buck for the Gators, but some great anticipation off the snap there. His ridiculous first step, he gets in the backfield fast, and also at times sets the edge when he needs to. You're looking at that in a player that's going to play the edge. You don't get too aggressive. We saw that at times with a player like Ja'Kai Polite, really pass rush specialist, but at times you got to be able to set the edge, especially in the SEC with all these running teams here. So committed to Florida over Virginia Tech. And this one is big because it was instrumental, I think, in the staff in getting this commitment pushed up. Powell was supposed to commit on July the 4th, had an announcement set up for that. We kind of knew by now it was a Florida-Virginia Tech battle, and this staff got him to push that up about a week now. And Torian Gray, Todd Grantham, as I mentioned earlier, were the two main cogs here on the staff and getting that maybe even getting that pushed up a little bit. I mean, we've seen a recent string of commitments here from the Gators, and add one more here. On the heels of big time prospect Derek Wingo, his flip from Penn State, and he's the 165th player overall. The number 11 outside linebacker, you're sure to see a jump from him after his MVP performance at the Rivals camp. So you got two big-time players here. You got the 136th ranked player in Powell and 165th ranked player in Derek Wingo. And for this Florida, I tell you, combine Powell and Wingo with what you have with Gervin Dexter and the 42nd overall player, third-ranked defensive tackle. You got Johnny Brown as well, 194th ranked player, 18th defensive tackle. You just got a commitment from Lamar Goods, who's the 334th overall player, 31st defensive tackle. And you got the makings of a pretty good front seven for this 2020 class, and especially this recent string here of 5 commits since last Friday, 7 in the month of June. That has shot Florida all the way up to number 5 in the 24/7 Sports Composite. And top 4 are way ahead of Florida in average right now with Florida's 18 commitments. But I think Florida's pretty much hit their floor. I think as far as targets and commits go, if you want to look at rankings that way, I don't think you'll be seeing too many. I think from here on out, you're going to see the level of commitments kind of rise as Florida moves forward through the dead period. Friday Night Lights coming up, the season's coming up, and I think that the commitments, I don't know how many Florida can really take right now, 24, 25, maybe up to 27 with how the counters work and going back with Steele and Jalen Jones from last cycle. But I think Florida's hit the floor as far as the kind of lower ranked prospects. I think we're going to see maybe some from here on out highly ranked 3 stars, 4 stars. Some guys maybe get bumped up to 5 stars. Maybe another maybe Bowman flip later on, maybe hopefully there. But I think a few players you're looking at with some big jumps in Gervin Dexter and Derek Wingo, Manuel, according to what happens this fall as well, with maybe Antwaun Powell getting more of a bump as well. So, we'll see what happens there. But just a quick update on the heels of Antwaun Powell committing to the Gators. Big time player, as I mentioned, 136th ranked player in the country, and big get for Dan Mullen and staff here. Right after the dead period starts, going into the holidays, going into a month where you're not going to hear a lot of news. Maybe one more, two more before Friday Night Lights. But this is a good way to put a little bit of spark in recruiting before fall camp. Friday Night Lights all starts around the same time and going into the season. So this is David Waters from the Gators Breakdown Podcast. Catch us on Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Play, YouTube here, of course, as well. But catch the main podcast out there on those avenues, and catch me on Twitter at GatorDave_SCC.